Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday morning. Good afternoon from a cool sunny London. Keep on being you and speak truth to the seriously hard of thinking. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Astro. Although I did make one grave mistake. I left my coffee. What a fail. What a fail. How are we supposed to start stream without a coffee? Yesterday we were finishing up the Channel 5 interview with the QAnon shaman, so I guess we'll pick it up from there, right? We've got a few headlines to go through, and we do have to finish that interview. Okay. So first on the docket, this also gives me a quick chance to go grab my coffee, because I can still hear the interview. Let's just rewind for a few minutes just so that for those that weren't here yesterday, we were watching this Channel 5 QAnon shaman interview. Very good job.
Or a duke or a sultan or whatever. So this is something that has been going on for quite some time. I mean, if you look into, how similar. I forgot his first name, but there was a certain Rockefeller that looks just like John Podesta, and John Podesta looks just like the singer from what's his name, from Linkin Park. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington, thank you. Yeah, they all look like strikingly similar. Okay, Merkel in Germany looks just like Hitler. Barbara Bush looks just like Aleister Crowley. What we're talking about is like a 6,000-year-old death cult that has been sacrificing children, like what was going on in Babylon and in the Canaanites, where they were sacrificing children to Baal and Moloch and all that stuff. Okay, there's international bankers that own whole economies. There's international bankers that own whole countries and whole economies, okay? And these individuals are able to control and corrupt whole institutions of government, of corporations, banking.
Right. So I just wanted to say, I feel that when people talk about ritual murder and the satanic sacrifice of children, I think that raises a lot of red flags for people. In terms of like anti-Semitism.
Yeah, no kidding. When you talk about a international cabal of bankers, what the heck are we saying? Jesus Christ, that dog whistle was so loud, my neighbor's dog is barking. Flyburn still Rona 19? I don't know what that means. Hey Sunrays, how's it going? Red flag of crazy people. Well, conspiracy theorists, yes. Completely divorced from reality, mostly.
I mean, people used what they call blood libel all throughout the 20th century to provide justifications for genocide. And it was kind of spread as propaganda because, saying that someone eats babies is like the worst thing you can say about someone, pretty much. It's like, if, you lose all
I'm
your
good, how are you?
like,
I'm chilling.
If people think you eat babies, like it's over for your career and social life. So,
and I think it's important to note here, though, that first of all, you're absolutely right, and there have been many people that have been maligned and been demonized as dark occultists, and it turns out that they're not. There have been a lot of people that have taken a rap when they weren't doing any of these things. Like you said, it was just negative propaganda campaigns. But I also think it's important to note here.
Hello.
There's people that say, oh, it's the Hebrews that are doing it, or it's the Satanists that are doing it, or whatever. What you got to keep in mind is that, first of all, real Hebrews would never do anything like that.
When you say they worship Saturn, are you talking
Okay, real Hebrews? What the heck is that? The heck does that mean? Yeah, I don't know, dude. This guy, at best, he is just so lost in the sauce that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Either that, or he's, knowingly spreading essentially what would be, Nazi propaganda. Convicted con artist. That's interesting. No, thank you. Hard pass, Sunrays.
at the planet?
Yes. Satan worship and Saturn worship are one and the same.
Is it just because they sound similar, or is there a connection?
No. We're talking people that understand the intricacies of astrology, interconnectivity, or what is called quantum entanglement.
Seems like a Swiss Alex Jones.
Or the way that electromagnetic fields are nested, and when you contribute certain energies to a certain electromagnetic field, there are certain effects that happen within the ecosystem or within the electromagnetic nested ball of yarn, shall we say.
Right. So I want to talk a little bit more about QAnon. So the mythology of QAnon was all about how this event was going to happen, and it was going to be called the Storm, which is basically when they stop the steal, they put Trump rightfully back in the White House, and then patriots take control of the country and disempower the deep state. But on December 8th, 2020, QAnon made its last post, which was just a YouTube link to the song We're Not Gonna Take It, We're Not Gonna Take It, and then pretty much went dark. And so it's I think it leaves a lot of people wondering, did the storm happen? What's up with the storm? Is it still coming? What's next?
Well, first of all, I think that we're in the midst of the storm with all of this COVID stuff. I think that we're in the midst of it right now. If you think about the damage that's being done to our economy, to our culture, to our national identity.
Oh
to,
my God.
The truther movement, is it?
I mean, what are we supposed to take from this, right? He's just ticking off all the boxes, right? There's an international cabal, of bankers. There's a cabal of international bankers. We're losing our national identity. I mean, Jesus Christ. If he doesn't know what he's doing, certainly he's doing the job for them, for the Nazis.
But I think that it's important that people realize that people now know about child and human trafficking, and they also know about the hundreds of deep underground military bases in the United States and all over the world. They also know about things like spiritual parasites and the way that psychic vampires play a role. They know about adrenochrome. They know about Bohemian Grove.
What?
They know about Jeffrey Epstein and his island and all the pedophile networks and the pedophile code. They know.
You said psychic vampires?
Psychic vampires.
That's what these Satanists are. They're like psychic vampires.
Okay.
They're like demonic possessed people. That's part of what black
and
magic
remember,
is.
folks, it always seems to be only of a certain political affiliation. It's only Democrats.
People know about
that he ever mentioned.
They know about how blackmail is used in the deep state to cover up the crimes against humanity. How it's all these networks, the pedophile networks and the mockingbird media is used to cover up the truth about this breakaway civilization that's going on underneath our feet as we speak.
As we speak, folks.
Linguistically programmed with the truth, but unfortunately, the movement has become fragmented. There's people that infiltrate and spread disinformation.
Right. So I just want to go back to the storm a little bit. The 6th of January was supposed to be
right. It's the
storm,
reptilians.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Is that the case? I don't know.
Howdy,
I remember in a lot of the flyers that I saw for the 6th beforehand, that got sent to me, it was the storm is coming. The 6th is the storm, because they're going to stop Congress from certifying Joe Biden. And then the 20th was supposed to be the storm, which was Inauguration Day. And I was actually in DC for Inauguration Day, and it was a military occupation in the streets. There was checkpoints on every street. You couldn't even walk around. There was hardly even a celebration crowd for Biden, and definitely not really an opposition crowd for Trump. I think a lot of people just got turned off from Q because they saw the goalpost just being moved what felt like over and over again. And I was wondering if you felt like it's possible that QAnon may have been a psyop to delegitimize the truth about things like Operation Mockingbird and Operation Paperclip.
Dr. Marty, which one is better for my cat?
I mean, like, that's wild. That would be wild. No, but I mean, I think we're grasping. I think we're grasping at some straws over here.
I think that there is going to be, in any sort of a truth movement, there's going to be infiltrators and disinformation agents. People have to understand that what we're dealing with is a new type of warfare. Okay, it's a new type of warfare.
I wish I could do an Alex Jones impression.
And I think that a lot of people are looking. They're missing the forest. They're missing the forest for the trees. Is that the saying? And the final battlefield for this global war that we're in is the mind. And I do not believe that Q is a tabloid straw man, because the movement was not in the tabloids until it began to supersede.
No, he's just a 4chan person. That's what it is.
Threaten the Mockingbird media, and the truth is always rejected, resisted, despised, and demonized before it's accepted. So, with that said, I think that we have to look at the wins. There's been lots of resignations, like Cuomo, the Cuomo brothers. All sorts of CNN producers are being proven to be pedos. The child trafficking is being exposed. The vax mandates are dead in the water. Omicron is probably going to create a massive global herd immunity without too much adverse side effects. Let's Go Brandon is taking over the...
Wait. What? I'm sorry. We lost him. I don't know what the point was there. The next time they try to pull this QAnon stunt, we'll be able to point out how badly QAnon failed to refute it, or is it just going to be that was the fake QAnon, this is the new one? Well, the thing is, Coherent Dreams, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. That's the thing. Like, the whole storm is coming on January 6th, or the storm is coming on November, the storm is then coming in August, then the storm is actually the storm hasn't come yet. I don't know. It's always just like continuously moving the goalposts as cults do. It doesn't have to make sense, Coherent Dreams. There's no legitimate, there's no basis in reality for it. It doesn't have to make sense. Yeah. That's consistent with every single type of cult-like behavior, right? Predictions that fail, then they just get moved, and then and the followers still believe it. Lawsuit, how's it going? Happy birthday. Is it? Wait. Is it birthday? Wait, is it today? I don't understand how anyone stays with the GOP I left in 2017. Well, that's good. Sunrays, it doesn't have to make sense. I disagree. The truth matters. Wait, that's the whole point. The truth matters. Okay? We're living, like, these people are literally living in an alternative reality. They are not with us. They're living in an alternative reality. Okay? You said nothing matters? No, you're not listening. I said that nothing that these people, nothing that the cult leaders say matters, because these people will believe anything, okay? Literally anything. All these lies, all these false predictions, none of it makes any sense. It literally does not matter what the next Q drop is, or what the next cult date is. It literally does not matter. These people will follow it. That's what I meant. Trump is a con man and QAnon is most likely an op to destroy America. No, that's too far. That's too far. QAnon is all it is 4chan manifesting itself into real life. That's it. That's it. QAnon is just 4chan manifesting itself into real life. That's it. Happy birthday, Lost Sue. Folks, today is Lost Sue's birthday, okay? So I want you to be extra nice. And why don't you go join Lost Sue in this birthday celebration, okay? True and QAnon only worships Trump and extremely silly. Yeah, it's something like that. So the TLDR is, nothing you say to these people is going to move them unless they want to be moved, is my point. It's a cult.
Entire nation. I mean, that's, and of all places on college campuses where they were hoping to indoctrinate all these people to be Marxists. Parents are standing up to school boards, and CRT is dead in the water. Kyle Rittenhouse's acquittal was a huge win for the Second Amendment. I mean, for Christ's sake, Black Lives Matter and Trump supporters were marching against the vaccine mandates, for crying out loud. We are now going to have free speech alternatives to social media. Cancel culture is being canceled. People are realizing that woke is broke, man. You know,
I think he's just like pre-programmed with as many buzzwords as possible. And that's what he's doing.
The world's waking up. Everybody's standing in solidarity together, bro. So it's going to take some time. That's just all there is to it. It's going to take some time. So I think that what people need to do, as opposed to being demoralized, is they need to pick a hill and have an indomitable will. They need to stop putting all their hopes in one person or in one group, because then their hope is so easily lost.
Wait, he just said it right there. Then why is he putting all his hopes and everything in one person or one group? That's literally what he's doing. It's just not computing. It's just not computing in his head.
You know, they need to be the change that they want to see in the world. You have to be the change you want to see. Fight with all your might. You know what I'm saying? But
do you? Are you allowed to talk about January 6th?
I'm not going to talk about that. I've been advised by my lawyers just to leave that situation alone.
Okay. Well, I guess. Do you feel like Trump should have done more to help you?
Well, I feel about Trump the way that I felt about him through that 4 years of his presidency. I mean, it's changed slightly with his support of these vaccines, but he took the deep state and the corrupt bureaucracy and the corrupt media on head-to-head. He went toe-to-toe with them. And
can anybody explain to me how he did it? Who is the deep state? And if he went so hard and toe-to-toe with the media, why did he continuously invite them to all his rallies? Why did he want all his rallies televised? Nice meme.
He did that, I think, for the American people and for America in general. I think that took courage and strength. But there's other things where it's like, I look, you know, he built the border wall went through a sacred Native American burial ground. They blew up a sacred Native American burial ground on the southern border of Arizona.
That's
so
true.
Could, put a wall through it. And to me, that's akin to blowing up a veteran's graveyard. I think Trump should have fired Fauci when he had the chance.
What? Wait, we just touched on something actually legitimate. Wait, did we have just like a brevity, like just 1 second, a brief moment of lucid, clear thinking? Wait, he just actually pointed out something that's true. Trump is the swamp. It's not that he didn't fight the swamp. He is the swamp.
To giving him the microphone, as opposed to pushing vaccines and Operation Warp Speed is the greatest achievement of mankind. And once again, and coming to your question, I think he could have and should have been there for more of the J6 people. I think he should have been more outspoken. I honestly think he should have given all the nonviolent offenders a pardon, personally. But at the same time, I try to understand his reason.
He can't do that. He's not president at that time. What? He can't do that. He's not president right now. He's not president. He can't give a pardon. He can't give a pardon because he's not the president. What did you think? What? No, he's not coming to help you. He never was. He doesn't care. We gotta pull up the archives because this guy deleted his post. So we gotta pull up the archive over here. saw Trump's interview this month. Trump lost his place at least 7 times. Candace Owens is on the top after the interview. Yeah, no, well, Candace is also like in another... She's living in another alternate reality as well. She's gone. She's lost. There's no point. A real leader would be standing beside you on the field, not hype you up, and then run for safety. True. Yeah, no, this guy was never a real leader in any way, shape, or form. He's what he is. What he always has been, which is a delusional, narcissistic con man. That's what he is. That's what he is, literally. So yeah, what he tried to hide, or what he tried to delete off his website, was the fact that the only thing that he cares about is himself, and the fact that he lost a election and attempting to call a legally done election the real insurrection. This guy is just flat out dangerous. They still love him after he stole money from his own charity. Yeah, I'm telling you, nothing that they say, nothing that you say to these people is going to move them unless they want to be moved. Nothing. When you're so deep in the sauce that this is the kind of like this is your frame of thinking, as such as the QAnon person here, the QAnon shaman, you're not moving these people. You're not moving these people. Maybe some might be moved, and if they want to leave, you should give them a door to leave this nonsense. But someone like him, I don't know.
For all that, and I know that I don't know everything. And
have you seen You've Been Trump too? No, I have no idea what that is.
For the American people, even if I don't always agree with him or see eye to eye.
Right. One thing I think about January 6th in the media, it's very strange to me that people took you, and in the media, especially right-wing media, made it seem like you were some sort of crisis actor hired by Antifa to make people look dumb.
Why should you switch to pure?
No, they did that to themselves.
All I can say is, for part of me was like, that's hilarious, because anybody that really knows me knows that's on.
What was the letter after Q?
Another part of me was like, okay.
We just started a new story in the Pied Piper. These Wallies back to safety. I don't think you can. You can't. You cannot unless they want to leave the cult. You can't. Where was Bernie? He sold out the left. I don't know if he sold out the left. I don't know how that comes into play. I have no idea what that even has to do with what we're talking about. But I don't believe that.
This is a perfect example of how it is that the truth gets smeared. The fact of the matter is I'm not Antifa. I'm not Black Lives Matter. And the fact of the matter is when I was marching at the
thank you for confirming that Antifa actually had nothing to do with any of this. If they just want to follow a story, just come up with a more extreme one, but which ultimately leads them calm down. I don't even know. I don't have that type of brain. I'm sorry, Zio Duke. I can't do it. I don't even know what I would even begin.
Matter and the Antifa protests in Phoenix, I wasn't marching with them. I was marching with the police. I'm a perfect example of how they neurolinguistically program people through the use of images, through the use of trigger words, and through the use of trigger images. And as far as I'm concerned, you need to be the change that you want to see in the world. You need to be the one that's the leader. I think that if imagine this, for example.
Yikes.
We have a capital in every city, in every state, and in every country all over the world. Imagine if every single person that was dedicated to the truth and to getting the truth out to the people met at their capital every single Saturday at noon. So this is our historical window of opportunity where...
That sounds like a call to action. Yikes.
Where we can all gather together, non-violently at our local capitals.
Oh yeah, not non-violently.
We can change the dialogue. We can, moralize by default. We can change our collective thought patterns by default. This idea of every Saturday at noon at your local capital, it organizes people by default. It changes.
Not only that, but it would take the stigma away from, pulling up to the Capitol. If we pulled up to the Capitol, our own capitals every week, just like,
exactly.
Hey, we're here.
Exactly.
And that
Think
way.
about the way. Oh, go ahead.
That way, you can't say, hey, they went to the Capitol, they're terrorists. You say, They went to the Capitol. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what we always do.
right? And think about how that would change the collective.
Oh
consciousness.
no. He's like breaking down. He can't do it. He's like breaking down. DNC giving the win to Joe, and Bernie was clearly the winner as per votes counted. Well, I don't know if like if it was shenanigans with the votes. It was more shenanigans with the coordination behind behind the more establishment Dems. They all kind of coalesced and did the Power Rangers Voltron fusion thing at the last second. That's kind of more of the way they shafted, and they shafted Bernie and moved their influence, I guess. Do they not understand the military will not let them take the country? No, they don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. Yeah, peaceful Q vibes. No, there's no such thing.
And think about this. Imagine if every Saturday at the Capitol at noon, people gathered together and they burned their vax cards, or they burned their vaccine passports, or they burned their masks.
There's no
Very similar to what,
vaccine
like Gandhi
passports.
did in South Africa with the passes that the Indians were forced to carry, but no British citizen was supposed to carry or forced to carry. Okay, imagine if everybody refused to socially distance. If everybody was praying or singing, dancing.
Yeah, if everybody just like made sure to perpetuate this pandemic. Yeah, if everybody just got together in really tight, close places, and just breathed on each other, then we don't have what? Oh,
People have
god
been
dang it!
attaching guns to their hip since the handgun was invented.
The heck?
Most feel it's a natural, comfortable.
This place can definitely take a spiritual person.
For sure. Do you? Right. So I want to go back to something you talked about, and just go there and are in the mix, and that isn't referring to a specific event.
Everybody was praying or singing, dancing, and socializing, or basically going back to normal. If actually better than normal, because now we're all united. You know, imagine if at these locations people were talking about Tesla coils and zero-point energy engines. Look at people like Gandhi, look at people like Martin Luther King Jr. and stuff like that. Even look at what happened in the USSR, where everybody gave the communists the finger and said, we're not working for you, we're not working with you, and the USSR fell.
Right. So I want to go back to something you talked about. And it's
Yeah,
the
he's
idea of
the one of the first rallies. I don't know if it continued, but certainly one of the first rallies that Trump had during this pandemic. You had to sign papers saying that you know, if you get messed up by COVID, that's on you, buddy. Sure enough, Herman Cain got his award. The best thing was the TikTok thing. I have no idea what that is. What about MLK? I have no idea, like, what he's trying to say.
And I'm of the belief that you are a truly nonviolent person. But with a lot of these, with a lot of these large events, like large protests, large rallies, I think that there's going to be a lot of bad seeds that are in the mix, and that isn't referring to a specific event, just in general, you know. And I think that it becomes harder to police and expel violent people from your movement as tensions are high and numbers grow. You know, like if you go to a Trump rally, right, anywhere, there is people there who are nonviolent, but there's also people who are just there to, you know, beat the shit out of the opposition and just go there and use these movements as an outlet for their.
Oh,
their
I see
hatred.
what you're saying.
How
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
about that?
This happened several times.
Well, this is something I
Sunrise.
think that is really important, because we can use a certain event, I'll just say that, we can use a certain event that happened to learn, okay? If there's some sort of violence happening, do not contribute to it, back away from the violent person and allow authorities to handle it. Then you're not associated with the violence at all. I also think that things like prayer are very, very important at these places. I don't know if you know, but there was this group that did...
But none of that happened. That literally none of that happened. None of that happened.
Did like an experiment where in Washington, D.C., they gathered together, I think it was like once a week for an hour, and they meditated and focused on the idea of nonviolence and peace and love. And the crime rates in Washington, D.C. dropped by like 25 to 35%. Nonviolent rebellion is the only thing that has ever created some sort of long-lasting change. Like what Gandhi said, dude, you know, a victory attained by violence is tantamount to a feat.
For sure. Do you?
I believe they have enough to charge Trump. I don't think that they're going to do anything.
Have any regrets?
Dude, when you're sitting in a cell for 22 hours a day, you have all sorts of regrets, far beyond the ones that landed you in that cell. Okay, you think about everything you've ever done in your life that you're like, man, I screwed up there, I screwed up there.
Trump is certainly not the
I
government.
messed up here. I wish I would have said that. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have kissed her. I wish I would have shown up. I wish I would have done this. You know what I'm saying? You pick yourself apart like no other. But the thing is that after all this time in solitary, they did it to break me. But what it did is it made me. All this pressure, the FBI breathing down my neck, the DOJ prosecuting me, the media spewing their lies, my previous counsel totally abhorrently misrepresenting me, saying I'm retarded and delusional and schizophrenic.
Oh.
All the while I'm in solitary confinement. I can't do anything about it. I can't express myself. I can't talk to the press. The pressure was unbelievable.
The tax one might get him, maybe, but I don't have any hopes for any repercussions.
Almost like a spiritual diamond of sorts, where all that pressure didn't break me. It made me a better, stronger, more spiritual person.
How do you think that you'll be remembered by history?
There's still the most popular figure. True, he is the GOP.
Right. So what's the plan? What comes next? Like, do you have any plans for whenever you get out?
Oh yeah, I'm going to write an autobiography. I'd like to make movies. I'd like to make music. I want to make some more of my paintings.
We should make music, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
We should make a first day out video. It's like in rap, whenever rappers get out of jail. Not that you have to rap, but they do a first day out freestyle. You should do something like that, but it's like you drop a music video your first day out of prison.
Oh my
That'd
God.
Be cool.
It would go crazy.
That would be awesome, dude. I'd totally do it, bro. And I'd work with whoever could help me with that,
We will help you with that.
I also want to start my own church.
Yeah. Oh no.
Going back to the music thing.
I want to be my own cult leader. I want to be the... Jesus Christ. This stinks of a warped mentality. Yeah, well, yeah, this is what happens when you're in a cult.
Freestyle rap at all?
I'm a poet. I'm not a rapper. I could probably learn to rap, but I'm much better when it comes to singing than rapping.
Do you think you could sing something for us?
True. Okay.
Yeah,
that was insane.
Yeah, dude, I can get so freaking loud, bro. I can get so loud, you have no idea.
Did you just freak anybody out in your pod?
I don't know, probably. Dude, I can go for miles. If I'm in the right spot, you can hear me for miles.
I can't believe your lawyer said you were retarded. That's so whack.
Yeah, it's to say the least. He abhorrently misrepresented me and was extremely inaccurate. But I think as people listen to me speak, they begin to see the truth is quite the opposite. So that's why I encourage people, to do their own research, because that's really the only way. I mean, like, seriously, if all people would
do
have
their
had
own
to
research
about me and who I really am, that I'm not a deep state actor, that I'm not mentally ill, that that I had nothing to do with BLM or Antifa. All they would have to do is would have had to go to my Rumble, go to
shouting himself out. Jesus, I don't know, man. He's writing an autobiography. He is promoting or attempting to promote his social media. Like, he is manic in his talking. Yeah, he is. Like, he's going all over the place. But I don't know if this is just like him, like, living in this like doublethink world. Because a part of me says he absolutely has no idea what he's talking about, but a part of me says, well, is he writing an autobiography? Is he prepping himself for the grift? Is this what this whole thing has been led up to? Is this what the whole thing is led up to? Is like now he writes an autobiography. It's obviously gonna sell out. I mean, is this a grift? I don't know. So many great I don't know about broken. Not a
my BitChute and read my book.
Yeah, go all to my social medias, and make sure that you buy my book when it comes out after I leave prison. Jesus, I don't know. Like, a part of me thinks he legitimately is a believer. But now I don't know. You can't make money off a crime that you're convicted of, but you can still make money. Yeah, I gotcha. Now I don't know.
Oh, dude, I don't really. I search so many media outlets. I search so many sources before I ever come to a conclusion about anything. But look, I want to keep talking to you, but unfortunately I do have to go. I got to give my family a call because of the holiday and such. But if you want, we can do another interview, bro. I can always call you back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down. So I was wondering, like, I have this friend named Kelly, who I was telling you about, who we're making a documentary on, and yeah, I kind of want you to meet him.
Okay, cool. Then we'll definitely work it out. We'll definitely do something, man. Thanks, Channel 5, for having me on, man, and I hope to be on once again. It's been a pleasure, like beyond what it's been before. You know, the questions you asked were fan-frickin-tastic, and I hope to do this again. Thank you so much, Andrew, and, you know, God bless you, and God bless America, and God bless the world.
Yeah, God bless you too, man. Let's keep in touch. Anytime you call, I'll answer.
Yes, sir. God bless, man. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Sounds good, man.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Jeez. That's something. So we went from a spiraling out of control, conspiracy after conspiracy, to, at the end, hey, by the way, I'm writing a book, so you should probably buy my book, and then follow me on my alternate social media. Okay. I don't know anymore. I'm stuck. I don't know if this is like, if he's a true believer, or if this is all like coalescing around a grift. I don't know.
Drinking water before bed burns 46 pounds in 2 weeks. If you
Stop
are
trying
struggling
to
lose
sell me
weight and
water.
you're
What do you... Nice. This is Palestine. All right. Shifting gears. Union details upcoming strike for thousands of King Soopers employees. Thousands of King Sooper employees across Colorado are expected to walk out the job in a matter of days. The strike comes on the heels of failed negotiations between King Soopers and the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 7. On Monday, the union held a press conference saying that they want increased wages, better healthcare options, and more tools on the job safety. Meanwhile, the state's largest grocery chain maintained they've met those needs. Yeah, I don't trust them. Workers are rethinking their relationship with employers, and that's what's happening right now with King Soopers, said Kim Cordova, the UFCW Local 7 president. During the press briefing, the 3 long-term King Sooper employees took to the podium and shared their grievances with the company. We have members that live in their cars because they can't afford an apartment. Jesus, said Carol McMillian, King Sooper's bakery manager. There are customers that are irate because departments are closed, but they take it out on us instead, and, you know, the back rooms can't get filled properly, they're a mess. Things don't change unless people get hurt with King Soopers. The claims made by employees and the union come just days before a strike set for 5 a.m. on Wednesday, which is today, I think. More than 8,400 workers from King Sooper stores in Denver, Parker, Boulder, and Broomfield will be participating. Nice. Nice. When you work for the largest chain in the state of Colorado and the largest chain, their parent company, Kroger, in the US, you shouldn't have to struggle. True! The grocery chain has denied all the claims made by the employees and the union. King Sooper's president, Joe Kelly, said the planned strikes come at a time when the company wants to invest more than ever in wage increases and affordable health care. Okay, so do it. We have 5% of our people today that make over $20 an hour. 75% of our team makes $18 an hour, so Cordova's rhetoric around 16 is 13 cents higher than minimum wage, unfortunately, is misleading on what she's saying. I don't trust them. The contract for employees involved in the strike expired on Saturday. King Sooper said they tried to bring in federal mediator to reach an agreement over the weekend, but the union rejected. Adding another presence is not going to be productive. The union also alleged the negotiations broke down because King Soopers failed to come to the table with someone who understood the issues at hand. These out-of-state lawyers don't understand our contracts. They don't know where we are in the process. So the company has put themselves in a position where we've rejected their proposals. King Sooper has also denied those claims. The only thing the two entities at odds agreed on is that they wish negotiations had gone differently. If you're not going to come back to the table and negotiate, then let our associates vote on an offer that we gave you versus rejecting it. The company is not engaging in lawful bargaining by just throwing down a proposal and not considering ours, said Cordova. The union also claims that King Soopers had attempted to bargain directly with employees using a third-party staffing service to hire workers to go into the stores and try to negotiate. The union filed a lawsuit in late December saying this alleged behavior was a breach of their contract. On Monday, King Soopers filed an unfair labor practice charge against the UFCW for refusing to bargain in good faith, a claim the union has also made against the grocery store chain. While it's not clear that the King Soopers locations, which King Soopers locations might be affected, Kelly said there will be instances where some departments, even some stores, won't be able to open as a result of the impending strike. Kelly said the company has flown in about 300 people from across the country from their sister brands to help. Ha! Okay. Union workers at King Soopers in Colorado Springs are also planning to strike. However, a date has not been set when they plan to walk off the job. Well, good luck. And we need more of this, that's for sure. If these companies are raking in record profits, if these people are raking in record profits and they can't afford to pay their employees a living wage and make sure they have safe working conditions, but yet they have plenty of resources to attempt to, break a strike, then, yeah, get effed. What a mess now. People will have to go to Safeway. But seriously, go unions, true. If they have enough resources to pay and to fly in employees, to pay out-of-state attorneys, in an attempt to not have a strike, then they have the resources to just pay their people good, make sure they have good health care, make sure they have good, safe working conditions. Simple as that. If you have all these resources to move in 300 employees from out of states, if you have enough resources to pay these lawyers, you have enough resources to definitely meet some of these demands. How's it going, Heat? Oh, we've got a dab. Hold on. There we go. I think that is a sufficient dab. I've had several friends work for KS. It's the same shit you see everywhere. Everyone needs to do this shit. Nice. I agree. I agree. It's fine. Kitty naughtiness last night. Oh no. Slightly good news? Slightly good news? EPA begins enforcement on cleanup of toxic coal ash ponds. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency announced on Tuesday it will begin enforcing regulations that require coal-fired power plants to clean up their coal ash waste, a toxic byproduct of burning coal to generate electricity. First of all, what do you mean begin enforcing regulations? You mean they have, like, the implication is that they haven't been enforcing these regulations, which is wild to me in the first place. The cat thinks she owns my bed, so she puked on it. Oh no. Yikes. No, I think it's been staggered enforcement. Select enforcement, I guess, would be the word. There are approximately 500 unlined coal ash ponds in the US, according to the EPA, which can leak toxins into the surrounding environment, including into freshwater sources that power plants are often situated near. Which, by the way, why? Regulations on coal ash ponds were announced in 2015 during the Obama administration, and the Trump administration was criticized by environmental groups for not enforcing the rules. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it took 2015, it took it took all the way up until 2015 for there to be any regulations to begin with. And then it wasn't even enforced. Didn't Trump undo it with an EO? I don't know. It seems like the rules were there, but just not being enforced. NPR says Trump bailed on his interview and pressed on election lies. I wouldn't doubt it. How's it going, Pat Rat? A subsequent ruling on a lawsuit filed by nonprofit environmental group Earth Justice effectively required facilities to start phasing out and closing ash ponds. The deadline to initiate closures was April of 2021. I've seen firsthand how coal ash contamination can hurt people and communities. Coal ash surface impoundments and landfills must operate and close in a manner that protects public health and the environment. True, said EPA Administrator Michael Regan. For too long, communities have already disproportionately been impacted by high levels of pollution and have been burdened by improper coal ash disposal. The EPA said 57 facilities covered by the regulation, some which have multiple coal ash ponds, have requested deadline extensions. It so far has proposed determinations on 4. 1 will be conditionally approved for an extension and 3 will be denied. Look at that. The agency is required to take public comment on the proposed determination for 30 days. So here's a cool graph. Look at that. That's very good. Very good. Hey Thunder, I have an update on Oxford shooting. Parents tried to have the bond lowered again. The prosecutor ended up spilling more evidence that the kid was looking up Nazi shit and had Nazi paraphernalia. Yikes. Yikes. And the parents had no idea that this was going on. I mean, come on. It makes me question, where the hell were the parents? What were they, like, where were they? Did they just not have no idea? It's hard to believe. That dude fishing is gonna have a nice meal full of lead. True. Among other toxins. True. How's it going, Dark Knight? Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful that fossil fuel companies, the fossil fuel industry, can just kind of have right side by side the surface water and right on top of the groundwater that, you know, for some we kind of need to drink, you know, water. It's just a no big deal. Mercury. Mercury. Yes. Yes. You know, no big deal. It's just water. It's just water. No big deal. Nothing that we need to live anyways. Nothing to worry about. Just casually filling up ponds of coal ash right on top of our groundwater and right next to any type of lake. Well, that's good to hear, Thundera. Parents' lawyers said they weren't a flight risk, but they went from Oxford, Lapeer, Pontiac to Detroit, empty out all bank accounts, including their own kids. and bought burner phones and tried to destroy one. They were found hiding behind a mattress. Oh yeah, 100% flight risk. Yeah. EPA is also notifying several coal ash facilities suspected of improper groundwater monitoring and not posting enough information about their obligations to comply with federal regulations. Yeah, seems to be a common theme. Facilities impacted by EPA's announcement are located in New York, Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, and Kentucky. Lisa Evans, a senior counsel at the nonprofit Earth Justice, told CNN that it's encouraging to see the EPA initiate action on these facilities. Enforcement on those rules is desperately needed as coal plants have demonstrated they don't care about polluting water, putting people's health at risk, and they've taken full advantage of the Trump EPA hands-off policy. The result is nationwide pollution of water at coal plants. Look at this. Look at that. Gross. But, you know. Nothing supersedes the almighty dollar. Evans said his announcement appears to be the first in a longer plan of action. More than 100 toxic ponds are potentially sitting in groundwater, and almost are starting closure. So a definitive statement from EPA that ash ponds cannot close in groundwater is a game changer and will protect the water of millions of Americans. Coal ash is toxic, containing pollutants, which Darknet pointed out, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic that can pollute rivers and poison drinking water. Though the Obama administration took steps in 2015 to regulate it, the rule categorized coal ash as solid waste instead of hazardous waste, largely allowing the utilities to police themselves. Yes, because it's because companies have been well known and well documented self-regulation capabilities. We were pretty far down the road on this, and we recognize the sense of urgency. Okay, that is the most mildest statement I've ever heard. The EPA's announcements also alluded to future additional regulations, finalizing a federal permit program on how companies should safely dispose of coal ash, and establishing regulations for legacy coal ash surface impoundments. How about this one? How about no more further coal plants, and all coal plants that are currently in operation must begin decommission process in favor of whatever renewable energy is available at the in your area, or whatever renewable energy is possible. All coal-fired plants must begin decommissioning. Their lawyers are trash, and what the lawyer had for a child rape is they kept saying the media did it, or I had clients where I was a dog sitting, or just a childish, unprofessional, and she perfectly folded to the judge. Oof. This is the result of fossil fuels. Look at that. Look at that. That's just gross. And the fact that they're even allowed to have this so close to drinking water and have been largely left to self-regulate is just, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Here's an interesting one. Biden's spending bill ignites debate over dairy methane pollution. As U.S. President Joe Biden's administration seeks to revive its ambitious? That's I guess that's one way of putting it. Ambitious social spending and climate plan. Oh. There's a climate plan? Huh. In Congress, environmental groups and the farm industry are at odds over proposed subsidies aimed at offsetting agriculture's substantial contribution to global warming. Hey, that's neat. I'm glad that's acknowledged. Tax credits and grants proposed in the administration's sweeping Build Back Better would bolster the small but fast-growing market for manure-based methane gas by supporting construction of machines that trap the gas from open manure pits on dairy farms and other livestock operations. Farmer could then sell the trapped methane for use in generating electricity or vehicle fuel in the form of compressed natural gas. The proposed incentive had been hailed by dairy farmers and investors as a game changer that could pad farm incomes while combating climate change by providing a less polluting alternative to fossil fuels. Wait, that's not... No. Wait, that's not... You're just moving it from one place to another. Right? Is that what I'm understanding? Like, you're just moving it from one place to another. The industry that produces gas from organic waste say the subsidies would boost development of the machinery. Wait, so it hasn't been developed? Wait. But some environmental groups and Democratic lawmakers have lined up against subsidies, saying that this could backfire because if capturing and selling methane from cows becomes profitable, it could incentivize large farms to grow, increasing greenhouse gas emissions. They warned that support a market for biomethane fuel would delay a transition to an all-electric future. Well, yeah, that's also a valid concern. This is cope? Yeah, it sounds like it. Tell a toddler to self-regulate how many cookies they can have and end up with a sick child. True. If you start making money off pollution, you're not going to stop polluting because, yeah, that's kind of your bread and butter. The debate has intensified as the use of technology has expanded, reflects the difficulties of reducing emissions from dairy due to growing cow herds and a lack of commercially available technologies to reduce methane, which is both produced by manure and animal digestion. Methane, a potent greenhouse that has a higher heat trapping potential than CO2, is the second biggest cause of climate change behind CO2. Senate Democrats' full support is needed to pass the BBB spending package, which had garnered no backing from the Senate Republicans. Democrats were unable to pass the bill last month thanks to President Joe Manchin. But they say hope to do so in sometime, maybe, hopefully, kind of, I hope, perhaps, some form this year. I always thought ash was good for fertilizer, but if it's toxins in it, then not so much. Yeah, well, this type of ash, coal ash, has a lot of bad stuff, including arsenic and mercury. Some Democrats are critical of these methane trapping machines known as anaerobic digesters. Senator Cory Booker, a New Jersey Democrat, told Reuters that the money in the plan should be instead targeting to family farmers for soil health and regenerative agriculture practices such as planting cover crops and employing no-till farming. West Virginia, President Joe Manchin, a Democrat whose opposition to the spending plan led its failure to pass in the Senate, has expressed support for clean energy tax credits, bolstering the industry's optimism that the plan could still be enacted. This is not... This is not acceptable. Vanilla oat milk isn't that bad. It's not that bad, I promise. It's good. I have vanilla soy milk. Almond milk, not so much. I don't like almond milk. Livestock methane pollution accounts for more than a third of the U.S. methane emissions, according to the EPA. Digesters are mainly found at dairies because cows produce more manure than beef cattle. Milking cows produce more manure than beef cattle. The spending plan would make digesters owners eligible for a 30% tax credit, put billions of dollars into the Department of Agriculture, programs that could help digester companies offset their cost. Digester developers and investors said the criticism from green groups is a distraction from efforts to combat climate change. What's the alternative? Well, the alternative is to attempt to shy away from this, right? I made cupcakes with cashew milk. They were tiny. Oh, but you made them. Interesting. Previous deal between the administrator and former President Obama and the dairy industry to promote digesters failed badly in reducing emissions, according to Reuters' review of government documents and data. No kidding. In 2009, the Obama administration and an industry group, the Innovator Center for U.S. Dairy, pledged to reduce the industry's greenhouse gas emissions by 25%. Yay? Okay. No. By 2020 over levels in 2007, in part by expanding federal support for new digesters. Instead, methane emissions in the sector have risen more than 15%. Wow. In part, driven by growth in herd size, according to the EPA, the number of dairy cows nationwide has grown to 3.3% since 2009 to, according to the USDA data, to 9.39 million cows. The dairy industry has pledged to become greenhouse gas neutral by 2050. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means or how. Unless you mean neutral by offsetting your emissions or not counting your emissions that you, I guess, shove elsewhere. I watched a documentary on Wisconsin dairy farmers all crying their eyes out as they can't make any money. Nice meme. We'll continue to work on its industry to meet the goal. Oh, sure. Yeah, cool. And exactly how? Because, like, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. How are you supposed to be how are you supposed to be greenhouse gas neutral? I don't know, without fudging, like, without redefining it, right? Without redefining it. Do you mean, like, greenhouse gas neutral by shoving your emissions or not counting your emissions in certain circumstances when it's not the case? Like, I don't know. It seems to me like there's some shenanigans that would have to that would have to be deployed to make that true. The industry missed the 2020 goal in part because digesters were so expensive, and there's no market for that. There's no market then for the gas they captured. So, like, again, this is just so backwards way of dealing with it. Instead of just like not instead of just eliminating it altogether. According to the Innovation Center, Karen Scanlon, Executive Vice President of Environmental Stewardship, and Jim Wallace, Senior Vice President of Environmental Research. Digesters are pricey, typically costing between $4 million and $7 million each, and often require dedicated staff to run them. Digesters don't capture 27% of methane emissions that come from the livestock enteric fermentation or cow burps, for which there is no commercial scale solution. So they don't even capture a quarter of what their entire purpose is. Anyways, I don't know. This seems like a big L. But the landscape has changed, industry officials say, because since 2017, digesters have been able to generate lucrative credits for the big biogas industry under a California policy called the Low Carbon Fuel Standard. Even out-of-state producers can claim the credits as a tax if the gas they produce is piped to fuel the state's trucks and buses. The value of those credits has roughly doubled since the dairy methane was included in the program to around 200, and the policy has helped to supercharge the industry. In a sign of the controversy around digesters, however, the EPA groups, the environmental groups, petitioned the California Resource Board to make them ineligible for credits, arguing that the presumed role in combating climate change was inflated, and the credits encourage making more manure. California is a top dairy state, and the industry is responsible for more than half of the state's methane emission. CARB said it was evaluating evaluating the petition. Meanwhile, the state is doubling down on the technology, and the CARB said it may need to spend between 700 million and 3.9 billion to build 200 additional digesters to help meet its goal in 2016 to reduce dairy methane emissions by 40% below the 2013 levels by 2030. Wait, what? Wait. Wait. Oh my god. So, you're gonna spend all this money. Couldn't we just refocus this? I feel like we're going the wrong way. The cost depends on whether digesters could be paired with polluting internal combustion engines or cleaner but far more expensive fuel cells. And indirect fermentation is more like 50% according to the EPA. Yikes. I wonder how they're measuring that one. The cost depends on whether digesters could be paired with polluting internal combustion engines or cleaner but far more expensive fuel cells. The state is currently on track to meet only half its emission reduction goal after spending nearly $200 million on digesters since 2015. We think we can realize the rest of the reductions that we're going to hope to see through additional digesters as well as some other reduction processes. Investment in the U.S. biogas projects have already tripled in 2017 to more than $1.6 billion, according to data from research firm AccuCom, including players like oil companies, because, you know, of course, and car makers like BMW, which are seeking to cash in on the biogas market and its subsidies. There are currently 317 operational manure digesters nationally, up from 141 in 2009, according to the EPA data. At the moment, digesters favor large farms. On one 2018 study for potential dairy biogas from Idaho found that the farm needed at least 3,000 cows for an economically viable digester operation. So in other words, like, you're just going to have to keep fueling it with more cows, like, in order for it to... that just doesn't make sense. Just 714 of the roughly 40,000 dairy farms have 2,500 cows or more. Jesus, but the proposed incentive in the BBB could benefit some smaller farms. He said 6 Cabot farms have digesters and more are in development. I'm not imagining a few where every farm uses an anaerobic... I'm not imagining a future where every farm uses anaerobic digestion, but I'm bullish on the fact that there's more opportunity than is currently available. So it seems to me like we should probably throw this money somewhere else. We should probably throw this money somewhere else. It doesn't seem like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and furthermore, I think that it's a valid concern, a valid argument that you're just going to incentivize this, because if it can't even be useful if you don't have more than 3,000 cows or more, then, I mean, what's the point, is what the mindset is going to be. I don't know. This seems like a wrong solution. I saw a guy that made a bike that ran on methane, and it could only go like half a mile on a giant bag of methane. Jeez. Meanwhile, there are available electric bikes that go a lot farther than half a mile. Not only that, I mean, depending on where you live, a regular bike might suffice. Yeah, it's pure greenwashing in the sense that, like, this presents itself as a solution to reduce emissions, but the only way to do that is the only way it's feasible or worth it, I guess would be the word, is if you have thousands and thousands of cows, which therein lies the problem. Yeah, no, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. Hey, kitty. Come on, kitty. Come on. Oh. Alright, I've got a cat on my lap, so... This reminds me of how every year I see articles about how feeding seaweed to cows will reduce methane, but nothing ever comes of it. It's just greenwashing to make people feel better. Yeah, but like, do they even do that? I don't even know if people are even doing that. They just opt to take the cheaper route. I mean, like, the reality is we've got to seriously consider whatever alternatives we have, but this ain't it. This ain't it. Right. Farmers don't give a shit. As long as it's cheap and available, just like with everything, right? Like, fossil fuel companies, just with the, you know, massive agriculture industry, they don't care. Burning methane is also like burning natural gas that produces CO2. I think burning methane, does it produce CO2? I have no idea. But yes, therein lies the problem. They don't care because, well, it's not profitable. Natural gas is methane. Gotcha. Hey, kitty. Kitty. Are we chill? Alright. You comfy? My brain saw a picture of penguins for a good 5 seconds there. Are we good? You comfy? So making cows fart less doesn't do anything? Well, the thing is, I don't know how you would stop. The problem is that, sure, but, the problem being is that it still continues, right? And the methods of which we are attempting to address it kind of, more incentivizes it by sheer numbers. Furthermore, the technology behind it is incredibly expensive and doesn't even do 100% of what it's supposed to be doing anyways. We need to make new grass light for diet-conscious bovines. Kitty. Come on. There we go. Okay. Ooh, don't disconnect my mic. Hey. Anyways, this is pointing in the wrong direction. If this is the big idea of the, yes, cow burps. If this is the big idea of the, Biden administration's, climate proposal. Yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. Just to kind of piggyback off that, satellites reveal record high methane concentrations despite reduction pledges. Concentration of greenhouse gases in Earth's atmosphere continued to rise in 2021 in spite of climate pledges and the economic slowdown brought about the COVID pandemic. So, yeah. Yeah, nice meme. Methane concentrations in particular show a worrying trend, rising to a new maximum of nearly 1,900 parts per billion, according to the European Earth Observation Program Copernicus. Oh, I think we talked something about this. Methane, which is released naturally by decaying matter, but also by agriculture and energy industries, is 80 times more potent than CO2. The gas is a target of a global emission reduction pledge, but good thing that world leaders across the board have pledged, have promised, have said, have spoke about maybe, hopefully, kind of, perhaps, reducing emissions in COP26. The annual increase in methane concentration also sets a new record, reaching 16.3 parts per billion, slightly more than in 2020, but more than double the average of annual increase between 2005 and 2015. Hey, cool. Scientists don't know yet what drives the trend. I could 80 times, not 800. But I can take a gander. Then CO2. Yes, 80 times than CO2. 80 times. Scientists don't know yet what drives the trend. Vincent Henry Pusch, the director of the Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service, said in a news conference held virtually on Monday, methane is a very potent greenhouse gas and it's concerned to see the atmospheric concentration growth rate double than compared to the average. More science is needed to see whether that is something that is part of the natural variability cycle or if it's something linked to more recent trends and the anthropogenic effects of climate change. Bush said that in addition to an increase in both natural and anthropogenic methane emissions, a rise in methane concentration may reflect a decrease in the atmosphere's ability to break down the gas. That's not good. That's definitely not good. Methane reacts in Earth's atmosphere with oxygen to gradually form the less potent and more prevalent CO2. Scientists don't yet fully understand the intricacies of these processes. The rapid increase in methane concentration shows that the world is nowhere near on track of slowing down the projected course of climate change. Cool. Experts believe that due to the methane's potency, reduction in emissions of the gas could significantly slow down global warming. A 30% cut in methane emissions by 2030 could slash 0.5 degrees or 0.28 degrees Celsius from the temperature rise expected by 2050. Wow, that's actually pretty good, or pretty massive. Pretty massive. Just by doing that, which in the IPCC report, they do make a mention of the necessity to kind of target methane as a way of kind of effectively buying us time. Effectively. Atmospheric concentrations of CO2 rose in 2021 as well, according to the measurements by Copernicus satellite constellation. Carbon dioxide concentration increased 2.4 parts per million, reaching an annual average of 414.3 parts per million. This growth rate is slightly higher than the average of the 2005 to 2015 period. Concentrations of CO2 in the atmosphere have risen a whopping 50% since the late 18th century's Industrial Revolution, according to an earlier estimate by the UK Met Office, the nation's Weather and Climate Authority. Copernicus data also showed that 2021 was one of the 7 hottest years on record. Oh, that's what we went over. That's the article we went over. 2021 was one of the 7 hottest years on record globally, along with the 6 years prior to it. Nice! But the latest data revealed some nuances. Europe, which in the long term is warming much faster than the rest of the world, experienced a somewhat cooler year than other regions, with mean temperatures only slightly above the 1991 to 2020 average, outside the warmest 10 years on record. Fraser Bamberg, a senior scientist with the European Copernicus Climate Change Service, said in the briefing, Europe is already on average 3.9 degrees or 2.2 degrees Celsius warmer than it was before the Industrial Revolution, well beyond That 2.7 degrees or 1.5 degrees threshold called for the Paris Agreement. Lamau. The international treaty negotiated at the UN climate... Like, imagine, like, negotiated. So imagine having, like, all of these talks and all of these things and knowing the, gravity of the situation, knowing this, doing pledges, doing, treaties, negotiating treaties, and then doing, just absolutely nothing. What amounts to nothing. Warming beyond that threshold could have unforeseen consequences for the Earth's climate. Experts believe the world is currently on average to 2 to 2.2 degrees, 1.1 to 1.2 degrees Celsius warmer than during the pre-industrial period. We're almost there, folks. And it's only 2022. Hey, Kalo, how's it going? The mildly cooler average temperature in Europe is likely caused by natural variability rather than a beginning of a new cooling trend on the continent. Last year was still just about the average of the last 30 years. This is just part of the natural climate variability that happens above the warming trend. You also see some years which are slightly cooler or slightly warmer than others. In fact, 2021 still broke a record for Europe's warmest summer. The continent's new record high temperature of 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 48.8 was set on the Italian island of Sicily in August. The Copernicus result revealed that existing greenhouse gas emission reductions measures have yet to kick in. Darknet, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Pretty okay. That's good to hear. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. When you look at the data in detail, you will see that last year with all the COVID-related measures, carbon dioxide emission only decreased by maybe 5 to 7%. The difficulty in the current state is that we're looking at the emission in the atmosphere, but anthropogenic emissions represent only a small fraction of the global carbon cycle. The European Commission, which runs the Copernicus program, is currently cooperating with the European Space Agency on a new satellite constellation capable of measuring anthropogenic emissions of carbon dioxide in real time on the level of individual factories and power plants. Now that's interesting. Satellites already play an important role in monitoring methane leaks from oil and gas installations. In the last year, these observations revealed that much more methane is escaping from the industrial establishment than previously thought. Yeah, I would say so. Because we all know, how well the fossil fuel industry keeps up its equipment and how very vested they are in making sure that these things don't happen. Something that is incredible to think about that is that if we were successful at mitigating things, there are forces that would use that to say climate change was a lie the entire time. Yeah, that's right. It's bizarre how people think. The new European constellation called CO2M will provide a new level of detail and coverage also for methane monitoring. This in turn will lead to better enforceability of greenhouse gas reduction pledges. Okay, but sure, but it means nothing if there's no like legitimate accountability. There's no legitimate policy or legislation or any way of really having any accountability should we fail, right? It's just all talks, pledges, promises, speeches. No real way of enforcing it, to my knowledge. In a separate announcement, the U.S. NOAA revealed on Monday that 2021 was the fourth warmest year in the U.S. since records began 130 years ago. All 6 of the warmest years have occurred in 2012, since 2012. Nice. A string of weather-related disasters, including devastating wildfires, powerful hurricanes, giant tornadoes, killed nearly 700 people in the U.S. and about 145 billion worth of damage. Yeah, I think the exact total was like 680. So yes, just about under 700 people. You okay, Kitty? You know you can't stay in my lap forever, right? But yes, you are correct, Kal-El. If we somehow manage to avoid the worst ends of this, if we magically, I don't know, start working on things and we manage to we managed to curb the worst ends of this, and it will it will be said that, everything was just uh alarmist nonsense by like hippies or something, like earth tree hugging hippies or something. That's what it's going to be. That's the narrative that's going to be said. Neo-Nazi leader sentenced to 5 years for plot to intimidate Jewish people and journalist. Nice. A neo-Nazi leader convicted in a plot to intimidate Jewish people and journalists has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. Good. The man, Caleb Cole, 25, the former leader of the neo-Nazi group, the Automoffen Division, was convicted in September of conspiracy, mailing threatening communications, and interfering with a federally protected activity. The group focused primarily on those who were Jewish or journalists of color. The plot involved sending posters that read, "You have been visited by..." Ow, come on, kitty. That was not very nice. She's like, "What? You're talking about Nazis? Let me out of here." The plot involves sending posters that read, "You have been visited by your local Nazis." In one case, the poster is glued to the window of an Arizona home of an editor for a Jewish publication. Today, the community and those Mr. Cole and his co-conspirators are targeted. Stand up to say hate has no place here. True. A co-conspirator in the plot, Cameron Shia, 25, another Automoffen Division leader, was sentenced to 3 years in August. Ha. 2 other people were also sentenced in the plot after they pleaded guilty and have since renounced their neo-Nazi views. The 4 were arrested after they were charged in a connection with a swatting scheme in 2020. What? Neo-Nazi charge in swatting scheme that targeted ex-DHS Chief Kirsten Nielsen. FBI agents arrested a suspected white supremacist from Texas Wednesday, accusing him of making hoax calls to law enforcement to summon a police response, a practice known as swatting, in a scheme that targeted former Homeland Security Secretary Kirsten Nielsen and a prominent news organization. Wow. Wait. Wasn't this the previous Trump Homeland Security Secretary? Huh. Prosecutors said the investigation of the swatting conspiracy began in January of 2019 when a caller, speaking in a muffled voice and sounding out of breath, claimed to have shot and killed his girlfriend, tied up the 2 children, and was prepared to set off a bomb. He gave Alexandria, Virginia address of a member of President Trump's cabinet. Yeah, it was. Wow. So I guess the result of all of this was that all of these people went to jail for quite some time. Huh. The KKK used to do this too. They would put cards or posters or little flyers, I guess, saying that you've been visited by your local KKK KKK chapter or whatever. Yeah, this happened recently too. I think it was last year where, I want to say California, where there was a poster about, like, I guess the local Klan made a poster like this too. She was a Trumpy, but resigned because she wasn't a MAGA. Oh, honestly, same thing to me. She was weak and ineffectual. Yeah, I mean, same difference to me, to be honest. She was weak and ineffectual? I don't know. Wasn't she being brought up as one of the people that might run for 2024? Okay. I keep hearing buzzing in my ears. I want to go back and investigate this. Hold on, folks. Zeoduke with a tier 1 subscription, 9 months. Inspector ADT on the case, true. It is one couple days closer to the weekend. Oh. Okay. Now it's all coming together. Anyways, TLDR, Nazis. Anyone who says that they're not like a thing is just delusional. Anyone who says that they're not like a thing is delusional. Young guy too, 25. He's younger than I am. He's younger than I am. I also love how in the end, two people that were, obviously sentenced to jail after pleading guilty have renounced said neo-Nazi views, which one can only hope, right? One can only hope. Eco Rester Dragon, how's it going? Thank you so much for the support, by the way, Zeoduke. It's so weird to see young people associated with neo-Nazis. Yeah, like 25. 25. Yeah, it was just for the memes, bro. Well, the memes got you in jail, so hope it was worth it. What are we talking about today? The culmination of a investigation into the Atomwaffen people who apparently were mailing threatening letters and mailing things like, you have been visited by your local Nazis, to prominent Jewish, not just media, but like Jewish people as well. In 2022 or 2021, I guess. I know there's a lot of them in older generations, but holy shit, he's 25. How does he not know any better? Yeah, I mean, there are people who buy into a lot of things, and when you get people in the right place at the right time in the right way, pretty sure you can make them do anything, right? I mean, and it's not just that one guy. The other dude, not just this guy, the other dude was 25 too. He was another Atomwaffen division leader, 25. The live individual being to blame for everything, like the race realism and stuff like that. Yeah, but like, it's all packed neatly in ways that if you get a person in the right state of mind, you can make them do this. Jesus. You can make them do this. Must have started off pretty young. Maybe. Or maybe they just got caught in the right time. Well, in the right time at the right place. And now they're in jail. Like, anyone who applies the minimum scrutiny to any of these ideas will, shred them into paper. It's very obvious. Like, anyone who just looks at these ideas and scrutinizes them for even half a second, they just start to just get destroyed like paper. They're like paper. The moment you start poking holes, it's very easy to see that all of this is nonsense. It's obvious lies and things like that. And not only that, like the entire like ideology itself It's just completely incoherent. It's a cult. It's a cult. And it's completely incoherent. It just none of it makes sense. Like, they apply something so small, a grain of truth so small, and then they create this fantastical alternate reality, where you come to the conclusion that somehow, insert the standard Nazi ideology here. They had a big march in front of the Capitol recently. Jesus Christ. And there are still people who say that Nazis don't exist. There are unironically people who say it's not a big deal. There are people who are saying it's not a threat. There are people saying, There are people who unironically believe that, first of all, some people believe that they don't exist. And some people who claim they think that they exist say that it's not really a big deal, it's okay. 2021, folks. This investigation was completed in... Oh, it doesn't say. I thought it said it was in August, or was I was thinking the other thing that they did. They attempted to do a swatting and... Oh, okay, here we go. In August, that's when they were sentenced. The four were arrested after they were charged in a connection with swatting scheme in 2020. Yeah, last year. Dems don't exist. Demon rats. Right on the front steps too, yikes. Yikes. There's actually video of the quartering saying this. I'm not kidding. Problem. I did this video in January of 2020. White supremacy isn't the problem.
J.R. Honeycutt.
Come on. Will apart that day and claim the life of Heather Heyer deserves more than 5 years. It's really sad that there are people out there saying that Nazis aren't real or white supremacy isn't the problem.
J.R. Honeycutt at the time had was a game designer at this event. He's a big guy in the board games world, saying it's late, but I wanted to remind you again that that punching a bad guy from WW2, which by the way doesn't exist, anymore.
Yeah. Nice meme. Which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, nice meme. Cool. No, he's just saying that because obviously, he does this thing for YouTube, for the YouTube algo, where he always replaces names with like pseudo names or substitutes. He'll say like, instead of Nazis, he'll say bad guys from WW2, which don't exist anymore, by the way, which is what he's saying, which is, Nazis don't exist anymore. Really? Then who is this? Then who is this? A figment of our imaginations? Look, how could he lie to how could he lie to us? Oh man. Yeah, I generally don't look at the Quartering's content. I haven't in quite some time, but it just reminded me of that. They're not supposed to, aren't they not are they not going to get wise to swatting anytime soon? It seems like to be so regular, and for people that are obvious targets, aren't they annoyed wasting their time? Like, I bet they are. Or if you're talking about the police, I bet they are. But unfortunately, they have to respond to every call, especially when they make up like these wild calls. They have to respond per like policy, procedure, or whatever department thing that they have. They have to respond because if it's true, then it's true. They have to respond. If it's not, then well, whatever. So I'm assuming that's why, and I'm assuming that, especially if it sounds so over the top, that a lot of them are feeling like, I don't know about that, but they have to respond, I assume. Plus, that's true. They do have to do something with that budget. How often do they get to pull out the Humvees and tack gear? True. Yeah, Obama is holding 30 people hostage. Come quick. Yeah. No, they don't do that. They literally say like, oh, I'm here, I've got a hostage, I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna Roblox my significant other, or whatever it is. I'm gonna start like, I'm gonna start Robloxing whatever store that I'm in front of, or something like that. They'll say something that's just enough to cause a response. It's wild that it's still happening in 2022. Like, this whole swatting thing is still happening. Or they just play audio clips of gunshots. Sometimes if they really want to go all the way. How's it going, Agave Poet? How's it going? Agave Poet, how's it going? Yeah, if they want to get real creative, they'll do that. But yeah, 2022, it's still a thing. Swatting is still a thing. In fact, our favorite beanie head, Tim Pool, just got swatted. Sorry, I'm late handling some morning errands, so hopefully we'll make it earlier tomorrow. No, it's okay, Agave. I'm just happy that you're here. Doing well. Good. Beanie head, yeah. Yeah, our favorite centrist, Pim Tool, recently got swatted. So I don't know, like, I don't understand. Like, you do realize that the people who do this kind of stuff, when they find you, you're going to jail for a very long time. Second favorite beanie. True. Man. Carlos is my favorite beanie head. Yes, Pim, I have a girlfriend, Tool, got recently swatted. Like, it's just amazing to me that at 2022, people are still doing this. Oh my god, that guy. Oof. Cringe. Super giga cringe. Omega cringe. But, yeah, the idea that, like, people are still swatting in 2022 is just beyond me. Like, it should have stopped. It should have stopped when, those people, man, I forgot what the story was now. It was a couple years ago. It was a really bad one. Where the cops being cops just ran in there with guns ablazing or something like that and ended up actually killing somebody. Because cops, you know, cops being cops, they ran in there, guns ablazing, commando style, thinking that there was a situation, and they ended up killing a dude. No, separate incident, because I don't think Breonna Taylor was like a swatting incident. I mean, like a legitimate swatting incident where somebody got mad because of a Call of Duty game, found where the dude lived, and made like the most heinous like accusation, saying that, oh, there's a dude in here, he's got hostages and he's like about to Roblox a bunch of people or some whatever, you know, enough to get the cops out there. And of course they came in guns ablazing and ended up, you know, killing somebody. And now the dude who did the call was caught. This is a while ago, so I may have my details wrong. I always feel like someone might get killed during a swatting. Yeah, not might. Someone did. Someone did. Because we all know how very tempered and very we all know how very tempered and trained police are. We all know how very, very tempered and very, well, disciplined. We all know how well disciplined police are. It's just highly restrained. Yes, our peace officer are very. We all know how highly trained they are. Very, very restrained peace officers who didn't go in there guns ablaze and ended up Robloxing somebody. So yeah. Yeah, this dude keeps glitch sniping everybody. Yeah, you gotta add that little detail to make sure they come in. Oh my god, that's so disgusting. The fact that that's like even a possibility. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen 100% times, nor all police are like this, but the fact that this is even a possibility is just wild to me, Zeoduke. The fact that that's even a thing is just wild to me. It's wild how police overreaction has seemingly gotten easier to weaponize. Yeah, over a Call of Duty game. no less, over a Call of Duty game. Like, that should have been the end of it, really. But that should have been the end of it, but, you know. The internet was a mistake. The internet was a mistake. Right. I mean, if they were glitch sniping, that's... No, I've been saying our brains are too smooth to be given this much power. No, I don't think it's that. I think that it's just like... people, have just... People, like, when you have this much level of anonymity, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, it's not bad to be able to protect your privacy. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like, on the flip side of it, it has ramifications, or it has encouraged just, like, the worst in people sometimes, I feel. Sometimes it just encourages, like, the worst in people. Which is probably how you see the rise, or how you got the, more far-right, like, prominence, right? Anonymity. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but we also have to, like, see the double-edged sword for what it is. That's literally one of the... I genuinely like that emote. I genuinely like that emote. I love emotes. Yeah, I love emotes in general. I need to get one. I need to make the... Now that I know that I have the animated ones, I wanna say the GIF ones. But yes, the animated ones. I wanna do one with, like, the clap. I think that one's good. Or maybe I could do one like that. The GIF ones are so good. Love a good easy clap mode. That's right, an ADTW. That could be like the easy clap. I thought I had something else. YouTube needs to get good emotes. If YouTube gets good emotes and YouTube, like, steps its game up and wants to supersede Twitch, I think they can. I think they can. YouTube streams are a lot better than Twitch now. YouTube would end Twitch. I think it could. I think it could. That's why I, allegedly, there are rumors that we are on both channels. Twitch has done a decent job widening its scope over the last few years, but YouTube has so much scale, yeah, and so much infrastructure too. That's also true, Commander Vicky. I feel like Twitch might be in a bad place because of the whole DMCA situation. The idea that there is, like, unironically, like, legitimately streamers who have tens of thousands of viewers unironically streaming brazenly obvious full-on shows or movies or whatever. Okay. It doesn't have the toxic community either. It just depends. That one is just depends because some have I seen some stuff on YouTube so many Twitch people are switching to Trovo. It's making me think about it, but their chatting is crap. I've actually never seen Trovo. But there are rumors Twitch has better moderation than YouTube. I think that their interface to do things are a lot easier because I have to jump through quite some hoops to do stuff in moderation with YouTube. But yeah, that's true. The only thing, for some reason, I don't always get notifications on YouTube, but Twitch I always get the notifications. When live, I also like the gifted subs. Yeah, that's true. Twitch is 10 times more toxic than YouTube, maybe because it's more concentrated versus like YouTube is wide, is like a sea. It's like an ocean versus like Twitch is very small niche. So you get like that concentration because, yeah, and I guess it just depends. Trovo is getting really popular. It gives good cash too, apparently. Oh, nice. Maybe that's something we can think about too. Because there are rumors that we have that we are on YouTube. There are unconfirmed rumors. There are fans of a certain big streamer who's everywhere here. YouTube has DMCA troubles over 7 million in fines. Yeah, but they fixed that. They have like the infrastructure already in place for that. Like right now, I can go to my YouTube channel.
We had no idea what we were.
Whoa. I can go to my YouTube channel. Go to Studio. Right, Commander Vicky, that's also true. I can go to live. Oh. Okay, so one of mine in this entire over a month of streaming, and this one has a copyright claim. So you know what we do? What? Really? 2 minutes out of a 3-hour stream? Sure. You just trim out the segment. And that's it. Copyright stuff fixed. That's it. There we go, I fixed it. I don't have to take down my VODs or anything like that. That being said, it's less sensitive on Twitch in the sense that you won't get nailed for copyright that easily, but at the same time, like, you're still doing DMCA, so like, I don't know. It just feels very just feels very sketch. But yeah, I think that there's I think I see your point, Darknet, especially because like Twitch is more concentrated versus like YouTube is just like an ocean. But yeah, there are rumors that we are on both platforms. Imagine integrating tools into your platform. True. When YouTube really decides to buckle down and do like easy user interface and make emotes and gifted stuff better and widely available, then I think that it's GG for Twitch. And of course, having nothing to do with anything, you should all just head on over to the YouTube and just click on the subscribe button just in case, you know? Just for no reason at all. Completely unrelated. You should head on over to the YouTube and just click on the subscribe button. Yeah, you see, like, YouTube doesn't have that. How else am I supposed to get these emotes? Yeah, like for an unrelated note, just go to YouTube and subscribe. As long as you're going to view some videos, cause subs that don't watch is negative apparently. What? Wait, as long as you're going to view some videos, cause subs that don't watch is negative apparently? Am I missing something? Sorry.
If you're always asking, where next?
Ah! Stop trying to get me to get credit cards. And hit the like button. That's right, Trevor. Hit the like button too. You know, do the YouTubes. Subs that don't watch on YouTube may cause negative weight in algo. Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Well, as long as you hit the sub and like and all this other stuff, it really does help. So just because of all of this, we're gonna do a free sub and also watch the videos, true? Or just watch the stream or do the YouTubes. That's right. Do the YouTubes. I mean, like, just subscribing by itself really does help us out. So just the act of hitting the red button does the thing. And just like the stream. Every time you see it live, just like the stream. Okay? One of these days we'll actually get to do dedicated content or figure out a way to break up these segments or stream segments. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with the YouTube channel. You folks, you don't want to help feed the kitty? True. I should put up a kitty counter every time that happens. However, yes, you get one free cute animal video simply because I can't help myself. And this one is way too cute.
Maybe one of the smallest animals I've ever seen.
Oh, that's loud.
It was a 100-degree day. She had been found under a truck. Within just a few days, she really started attaching to me.
Do you hear the peeps? Isn't that the cutest thing?
Little sweet D. We were just really attached at the hip. We spent pretty much every waking moment together. Such a diva. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Probably the first time she saw grass was when I would take her to the park. She was a little skeptical, also really, really little, so the blades of grass were taller than her.
True.
She would only venture so far before she would realize that she was too far away from me.
Oh man, okay. So you wanna go play? Oh my god. Okay. Alright.
Age 6 and 7. If I walked 2 feet away, she'd be right behind me. And then I would walk a few more steps away and her eye would be caught by a fly or a worm, go chase after it.
She's going nuts. Good job, little girl.
And that's really how she started getting more acclimated with being a chicken. It took some coaxing, but she pretty quickly realized that outside was her favorite place. It took a couple weeks for her to really feel comfortable in going off on her own.
Aww. a shoulder chickie.
You deserve this more than anyone I know.
She is funny. She would just flop to the side, stretch her wing up, and just bask in the sun.
Oh, is it so nice in the sun?
ooh, true.
She had so much fun with the xylophone. She really got into it. She was always messing with things. She would follow my mouse as I would move it across the screen. My catcher, she ran the show. She really is so sassy. I mean, she has so much personality. She really wants to be part of the action.
Oh my goodness. That's your friends?
So it was what was best. We can't have a chicken in our apartment. I recognized that it was definitely time for her to be introduced to her herd.
That's adorable.
I do go visit her at least once a week when I go to volunteer at the sanctuary.
Aww. All
I would
grown
bring
up.
the tapestry and take her out of the enclosure to give her a little bit of a break. She'll come and jump on my lap and hang out for a little bit. She really is thriving.
That's your friend.
She loves being around other chickens. I don't think anyone could have expected her to be this sassy and hilarious. She's definitely still a queen bee. She definitely still gets her way.
Yeah.
We're just best friends.
That's a feel-good story to end. That is a feel-good story. That is a feel-good story to end on. I appreciate all of you folks joining us today. Don't forget, folks, hit the follow button, get 5 free emotes, and join us on the YouTubes, join us on the Discord to keep up with the channel. It really does help us out. And I got some fake nuggets the other day. They're very good. Yeah, especially if they're, oh man, I forget what they're called. Raised and rooted. Thanks for the stream. Have a good one. You have a good one. I can't wait to adopt an animal. It's adorable. You should. What? The heck just happened here? That's weird. Tofu turkey is amazing. I gotta try that. I couldn't find your brand, sorry. I forget what they're called. Garden nuggies are the best. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, they look like this. Thanks for speaking truth to the heart of thinking. Appreciate that. Folks, hey. Yeah, there we go. Folks, don't forget to spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Join us Saturday for Saturday Catterdays. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Thank you, Darknet. I appreciate that. Thank you. We're gonna have to do some fixing on the back end. I'm gonna make my own from scratch. Oh, that's another one. That's another idea. I didn't think about that. Alright, folks. We're heading out. Let's see. I made tofu turkey from scratch. Huh. By the way, we should make a channel for that. Make a channel for like recipes. Alright, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. See ya.